G'day everyone and welcome to Chris Rankin's Music Crush. It's been a long time since I've done a video, well over a week. Lots to talk about, so buckle up, this is going to be a good one. There is some outstanding stuff to show. A new arrival that just turned up this morning in the post, which I'm pretty excited about. Lots of new releases to tell you about. I didn't get to tell you about last week's new releases, plus today's new releases, and just lots of metal from my archives, plus a boy from the city. Wonder what that could be. Lots of good things to talk about today. Sorry it's been a little while since I've made a video, and I'm just catching up on some of your videos that you've made. For those who make videos and have channels, I'll be commenting on them as I do with my normally long novel-sized comments. But yeah, here we go. Lots of new releases. Of course, last week we had the brand new Fear Factory album that I showed you that I love. The new Helloween album, which is great, that came out last week. The new Bossk album, which is absolutely brilliant. What else? There's a new Funeral Doom album that's just come out that Ron Haggerty and Liam, the Death Doom metalhead, both of you boys will love this. I can't remember the name of the album, but the band is called Hellish Form, so look for their latest. I'll also put all of these new release albums in the description below with a little description of subgenres. So all of these, I can't remember all of them that came out. The new Pestilence album came out today, which is brilliant. Cerebral Rot, their brand new album that came out. Lucifer's Hammer, I think, was one of them as well. There's just lots. The Absence album, Coffinized, came out today. The Absence, very underrated Tampa death metal band. They don't get talked about in the same as all the classic Tampa death metal bands, but the Absence are fantastic. A lot of groove in their death metal sound. Riders of the Plague, one of my favourite death metal albums of all time, and their brand new album came out today and it's fantastic. Some really, really great albums, and a new album by the band called Urne, spelled U-R-N-E. Fantastic album. You think it's going to be just all doom metal to start off with, but it's a lot more than that, and a really, really brilliant album. Buckcherry have got a new album out, and you might think that they're not really sort of my style, but I like Buckcherry. I like the way that they just go about their business. They don't fit anyone else's style. Yeah, they're a little bit derivative, I guess, of AC/DC and Aerosmith and things like that, but they're just good fun, big hooks. They got a new album that came out today called Hellbound, which is really, really good. So look, let me get started. As I say, I won't go on about those new releases too much. I don't have much I don't have anything to show as far as physicals, but I just like to let you know of these new releases coming out, and I always put them all in the description, so you can go through, look at the bands you know, maybe the bands you don't know. There'll be a little description of the subgenre that band, and it'll have the name of the new album that's came out today. So it's just a nice way I like to try and share as much new music as I can with you, even if I don't have the physicals. But I did get one physical today, and it just literally came in this morning, and I'm very, very happy to have it. So yeah, here we go. So I'll start with that one. So it came in this morning, and it's good now. Some brand new things that I'm getting are not taking quite as long to get here, which is kind of nice. And the one that I got today is the brand new Disaster album. I talked about it a few weeks ago when it came out. Awesome band. If you don't know this band, I feel like every week I show lots of German metal. I mean, what a country for putting out bands and metal. I mean, just thousands of them, literally thousands of them. Now, Disaster are a blackened thrash metal band. Never really get into the death side of things. It's thrash metal, but definitely blackened. A lot harsher, a lot rawer, a lot rougher. Pretty evil sounding stuff. they've had some of the best albums ever, and yeah, this just came in the mail today, so I'm very, very happy to have it. This is their 9th album called Churches Without Saints. A lot of people saying, and I half agree, one of the best album covers of this year. And that logo, I've always had one of the best logos ever. And as I say, if you don't know Disaster at all, I would strongly suggest you go back through and check out their catalogue. Of course, it's Metal Blade, so you get the lovely big poster. I won't fold that out, but you know how great they are. And you also get the lyrics sheet. How's the font? Readable, little small, but still very readable. That's great, good to know. What else? Oh, you get, looks like you get a postcard in there as well. Metal Blade are just so good with doing this stuff. You know, you really, really get a complete package. It's just so nice. It's not just a record and a sleeve. There's a bit of everything to it. And the record, of course, you get those lovely new sleeves that they're putting all their records in. And, oh yeah, I forgot this. I couldn't remember if I'd picked a coloured vinyl or not, but there we go. That custom label, well, it's still Metal Blade, but then you get, I like this side because you get that awesome logo. As I say, one of the best logos in metal, I reckon. And I know this album reasonably well. I played it a lot. Listened to it online and YouTube and things like that first. I haven't had a chance to spin it yet. I probably will do later, although so why I haven't made a video for a while, work's been absolutely incredibly busy. Like literally most days all I do is get up really early, go to work, come home, sleep, get up, go to work, come home, sleep. That's pretty much all it's been. So that's why I haven't made a video. So and I've got a big tour tomorrow, big 16-hour day tour tomorrow and Sunday as well. So I'm not sure when I'll get a chance to listen to that. I might be able to listen to some things Sunday morning. I've got some new releases to listen to and divulge Sunday morning. But yeah, very happy to have that. Disaster, so good. Aaron the Metal Theologian, you would absolutely love Disaster. I think you've shown them a few times, but that record you would love, absolutely love. Next up, I wanted to show this. I absolutely love this. One of the best death thrash albums of all time, in my opinion. The band is Solstice, not the Doom Solstice. This is the Florida death thrash band, but they're not from Tampa. They're from Miami, so a little bit different from that era. This is 1992. This was their debut album. Now, sometimes you'll see this called just Solstice, so it's self-titled. Other times you'll see it titled The Sentencing. Yeah, so this one is titled The Sentencing, but if you looked, you'll see on the actual cover, the front, there's no actual title. So sometimes it just gets called the self-titled. It's just classic 1992 death metal with a bit of a thrash, or thrash with a bit of death metal. You know, it's Protector, it's like that classic early 90s sound where it's just, I just love everything about this album. If you don't know this album, you need to check it out instantly. I always get, it's funny, I can read weird language as well, but that word, transmogrified, I always want to say transmogrified, but it's transmogrified. One of the best death metal songs ever made. So good. Cleansed of Impurity, the riffs in it, Internal Waking, Survival Reaction. Then on the other side, you've got Plasticized, Cataclysmic Outburst, all just so good. This was a limited reissue, 103 of 200. So good. This takes me back to being 18 years of age when this came out, and just couldn't get enough of it. Absolutely couldn't get enough of it at the time. Had it on cassette. It's one of the very last cassettes that I bought before all of them perished, unfortunately. And it's just exactly what you want from that era. So this is a reissue. I jumped on this instantly as soon as I saw this. There's the label, and that sort of red with a bit of a black swirl through it. So good. Kind of a rare death metal album. It's with that bright blue colour. Obviously you've got the, there's the guys in the back. Line up, Rob Barrett, Dennis Munoz, Alex Marquez, Mark Van Earp, yeah. So good. Of course, James Murphy as well. Pretty hard. I don't think I need to explain who James Murphy is. He's been on pretty much everything. Amazing. Absolutely amazing album. Brilliant. I don't really know what to say other than if you don't know this album, check it out. It is one of the best. It is one of the absolute landmarks. An album of that era that still holds up so very well today. Full of riffs, mid-tempo, up-tempo, goes into death metal, goes into thrash metal, blends the two. Absolute perfection. Love, love, love that record so much. Next, what about some more German? More on the speed metal, thrash metal, and one of the real founding bands of German thrash, of course, Living Death. Their second album, Metal Revolution. I have the t-shirt of this that I wear all the time. Just outstanding. As Aaron the Metal Theologian says, I'm quoting him again, but how can you argue with that cover? I know he says that, and that's a good point. Look at that, just so good. If you don't know Living Death, you know, they're not the most polished band, is fair to say, and that's not a down mark on them at all. That's not what they're about. This is 1985, their second album, but it's just brilliant. It's speedy thrash, you know, it's out as fast as you can go. But good hooks. Vocalist, what's his name? Thorsten Bergman. Interesting. He's at times he sounds like a little bit like Mile, I think, of Creator, except at times he has the high pitch sort of growl like Mile does, but at times his high pitch becomes quite clean. Probably not as high as King Diamond, not at all, but it's certainly quite high. And interesting. It sounds unique, I think. So good. Gripping a Heart, Rulers Must Come. Screaming from a Chamber is probably my favourite song on here, and has that really eerie sort of start. Really quite sort of dark and eerie. And then the other side, you've got Panic and Hysteria of Love, and then you've got the demos on here as well. The last three, some demos. Let me take some things out to show you. This is a High Roller reissue. You've got the poster. I'm not going to fold that out, really. No real point. Some pictures of the band. Brilliant. I love all their catalogue. I know it all well. I need more physical of it. But some of it can be quite expensive if you're looking for either originals or older version copies. So I just will look when I know all this stuff extremely well. And when High Roller reissues them, I'm quite happy to be patient and wait each time High Roller reissues, because they're really quite cheap. They're so well done. They look great. And as I say, it's stuff that I know extremely well. I grew up with all this stuff. and it's just nice to get physical copies of them. Really good. I'm spinning this quite a lot. A little bit quiet, I must admit. The production is good. It's a little bit quiet, I must admit. I put this on after putting on the Solstice record, and I had to turn it up a couple of notches. But that was fine. Once I did, it was okay, but it just a little bit quiet. No big deal. But yeah, Living Death, Metal Revolution, 1985. I mean, as an 11-year-old boy that was obsessed by heavy metal music, when this came out, my goodness. I remember this was a cassette that sort of got swapped around everywhere. It was just so rare, and people were just in awe of this unknown band from Germany. It really did the rounds, because it was just almost impossible to get. So whoever have got a copy, it was like, oh, can I borrow it? Yeah, can I borrow it? Can I borrow it? And then, as I've said before, we used to have this thing where we'd meet up. I was still in primary school at that stage, and there was about 4 or 5 of us that would meet up once a week after school, and we'd all bring whatever latest cassettes or whatever we'd have. We didn't really bring records. We had records. I obviously had records back then as well, but it was easier to just put a whole lot of cassettes in your bag and ride your bike over to whoever's house we were meeting at. And whoever house we were at, if they had records, then they would play them, but we'd only ever bring cassettes. And yeah, it was, hey, look what I've got. Look at this. This is the latest. And we would always do that sort of stuff. Talk about Star Wars and Battletech and Transformers and whatever else as well. And have Battletech tournaments as well. The great role-playing tabletop game of Battletech. Oh, man, I love that so much. So yeah, some really, really great records. Absolutely love it. Also, I've been playing this a lot. Byzantine. Is that right? Byzantine Empire? Yeah, it must be Byzantine. I always think it's like that. A band from Charleston, West Virginia. Capital city, obviously, of the Mountaineer State. Excellent band. Really probably don't get quite enough credit as they should. This is their 6th album, their most recent album. Came out in 2017, called The Cicada Tree. Best way to describe their music, especially this one, is groove metal, but with quite a bit more progressive metal sound to it. So the songs are a bit longer than the normal groove metal, and there's lots of parts where the tempo will change. There'll be little interesting things that come in. Really, really, really good band. So what's that? It's been 4 years now since their last album, and this has been my favourite of theirs so far. This is their 6th, and so hoping we get a new album from them soon. Really, really good stuff. Think of I guess you could say, think of like a cross between Prong and Gojira, but not quite as heavy as Gojira. But that would be, a cross between Exorder, Prong, and Gojira. Probably the later Gojira. That's the best way to describe them. Favourite songs on here. Now, interesting album, because this is an album that, it's the back half of the album that I think I love the most, for sure. The first half is very good, but the second half is heavy and groovy. Trapjaw, brilliant. Favourite song on the album is The Subjugated. Fantastic. That main riff is just so good. Big catchy chorus. And then at about the 3-minute 40 mark, I think it was, 3-minute 45 mark, there's this really interesting section that incorporates that main riff, the main angular catchy riff, but then adds this other effect through it, and magnificent. Absolutely love it. The title track, The Cicada Tree, is quite melodic and catchy, not as harsh as the other stuff on here, but really good. And then Verses of Violence is probably the heaviest song on the album, but really good once again. Absolutely fantastic album. Love this to bits. So if you don't know Byzantine, yeah, because it's the Byzantine Empire, right? So yeah, Byzantine. I highly recommend you check them out. Such a good band, and this is a great album by them. Been playing that a lot. I've actually been having a little bit of a Fleetwood Mac kick of late. I don't know why. I've been just playing the records, playing some of the hits on YouTube, watching the music videos. I don't know why. I've had a bit of a kick lately of Fleetwood Mac. And all of the era, the Peter Green stuff, the Bob Welsh stuff, the Nick's Buckingham stuff, everything. Yeah. Big kick of them lately. I don't know why. Next up, a band from South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Largest city of South Dakota. So you're getting a bit of geography here today as well on Chris Rankin's Music Crush. A band called March in Arms. Album Pulse of the Daring. This is their second album. Came out last year. Finished very high on my top 100 list of 2020. Best way to describe this is US power metal. Definitely not European power metal. Definitely more on the US power metal style. Vocalist doesn't really get high like the European power metal. A really, really interesting vocalist too. I'm trying to remember the fellow's name. I can't remember his name. No, I can't remember his name. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Of course, Chris, look in the sleeve. Ryan Knutson is his name. It's spelled Knutson. At times, and I want to be careful saying this because you'll get an instant impression, but he doesn't do the hell yeah. He doesn't do any of that stuff. But at times, the melodic, he has some of the similar melodic parts of a James Hetfield voice. Doesn't have all the tropes and all those signature things that sometimes get on your nerves a bit with James Hetfield's voice, but not a bad comparison to that. So you can see it's nothing like the European power metal vocalists at all, but the music is very much US power metal. So think of bands like Iced Earth, Mystic Prophecy, Rage, stuff like that, Primal Fear, and very much war-themed. So, you know, you've got songs on here like 1914, Altar of the Gun, Pulse of the Daring, An Act of Valor. So all the Omaha, which is of course about Omaha Beach. My favourite songs on here would be the title track, Pulse of the Daring, really good. An Act of Valor, No Year's Resolution, really good. Probably the heaviest song on the album, and Omaha. Really, really good. So guys and girls that love your power metal and straight up sort of heavy metal, I think you'd really love this. I mentioned it on my very first video about my favourite albums of last year, in my top 100 of last year, but I'm just showing you a physical copy now. I always think it's good when you do your lists and what your favourite albums were of the last year or the year ago. I always then let the dust settle, let things breathe a bit, and then you go back and revisit. And it's funny, sometimes albums that you loved, you go, yeah, I still like it a lot, but not love quite as much as I did. And then there's other albums that you thought, yeah, I loved it a lot, but maybe it was like number 65 or number 87, something like that. And then you listen to it again and go, whoa, that's actually moved up the ladder quite a bit. And this is about where I thought it was. I think I had this, I don't know, in the 40s or the 50s of last year, and I think that's still where it is, which, you know, as I say, I listen to about 1,000 albums a year, and I'm not exaggerating that. I literally listen to about 1,000 new releases every year, so for it to finish that high is a very good achievement at all. But yeah, South Dakota metal, brilliant album. Love it to bits. Next up, I think everyone knows this album, and if you don't, you should. One of the best traditional heavy metal albums of the last 10 years. This band is fantastic. I love them, and this album just blew me away, blew everyone away. Visigoth from Salt Lake City, Utah. And the album is called Conqueror's Oath. Just everything you want in epic traditional heavy metal. Sometimes they get called US power metal, but I think it's more straight up epic traditional heavy metal. Just everything you want in that. Jake Rogers' voice is magnificent. You know, he really has one of the best voices in modern heavy metal for sure. Just really good. A little bit heavier than you might expect, and that's a good thing. I like that. It's got a bit of thunder to it. Favourite songs on here are Hammer Forged. Absolutely love it. Love it to bits. Trader's Gate. That really lets Jake show off just what his capabilities are with a voice. He is something else. He is quite spectacular. The great song Salt City, which, being from Salt Lake City, is really a ode to their hometown. And even the chorus, Salt City, living in Salt City, just brilliant. I love that sort of stuff. So good. And The Conqueror's Oath, excellent title track to finish off with. What an album. If you don't know this album, so good. I've been playing it. This came out in 2018, finished very high on my end of year list for 2018 and a lot of people's lists. Really good. Everyone's kind of waiting to see what the follow-up will be. Of course, you got that artwork. You kind of know what you're going to get with artwork like that. Brilliant album. Love this. As I say, this is their second album. There's a little bit of a theme here. We've got some kind of regional US heavy metal. We've had something from Salt Lake City, we've had something from Charleston, West Virginia, and we've had something from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So yeah, a little bit of regional heavy metal. Regional US heavy metal. And lastly, I've been spinning this. Really, it's funny, they had some big hits, but they seem to have, I don't know, is underrated the quite word? No, probably not. Could be not underrated, but kind of forgotten a little bit. A great band of the 70s, mid to late 70s. This is their second album called Dinner at the Ritz. Of course, the band is City Boy. That's why in my intro in the beginning I said the boy from the city. If you don't know this band, best way to describe them is they're a cross between hard rock. So the guitars are quite crunchy and heavy at times. Definitely never metal, but definitely hard rocking. And hard rock, bit of progressive rock, but also some elements of art pop and power pop because of the melodies and the choruses. Really lush, beautiful, catchy choruses and melodies. But certainly enough crunch and hard rocking, bluesy good stuff through it that it's not purely power pop and it's not purely hard rock. It has both of those elements. Enough to satisfy hard rockers and enough progressive and power pop to satisfy people that like their pop and they like their lush, catchy melodies and choruses. You've got 3 vocalists in this band, 2 that are actual lead vocalists and then someone else that also supplies their vocals as well. I'm sure a lot of you do know City Boy, but if you don't, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Been playing this a lot, hadn't played it for a while and kind of forgot that, well, no, I didn't forget that I had it, that's stupid to say, but just, you know, it's one of those things you're flipping through and go, oh, haven't played that in a while, and got it out and just remembered how, here's a good word for it, how wonderful it is. It's a good slab of hard rocking wonderfulness. I mean, mate, that's just not good English at all, but that's the way I feel I want to say it. And there's that label on Vertigo, but it's kind of got that interesting label. It looks a little bit like the spaceship in on the Boston album, doesn't it? There we go. Thin as hell record, but sounds great. Really, really sounds great. The sound jumps out at you, always has. Just shows, you know, that things don't always have to be 180 gram or 200 gram, whatever. You know, some of these old thin records, they sound great. That's not going back in. Of course, I'm on camera, so it won't. But yeah, City Boy, really good. So good. Some of my favourite songs on here: Mama's Boy, hard rocking stuff. Walk on the Water, and really nice, good hard rocking stuff. And then you've got, but even when they're hard rocking, they have really just irresistible melodies and choruses. The Side 1 is probably quite a bit more rocking than side 2. Side 2 starts out with some quite ballady things, Goodbye Blue Monday, the violin, but then you've got the big song at the end called State Secrets, a thriller, which is good hard rocking and probably the most progressive song on the album. But yeah, really good. 1976, this is their second album. They were from Birmingham, England. Great band, City Boy. I'd like more physical of theirs. I don't have their debut. I'm always on the lookout of it. Know all their stuff pretty well. I don't know much of the later stuff. And I know there was some archival things released in the early 90s. But the studio, the proper full-length studio albums I'm always on the lookout for. But yeah, City Boy. Really, really good stuff. So look, just some amazing things I've been listening to. The world of music is always good. It always drives me. It's my big passion, and I just love listening to all this stuff. And it's been a while since I've made a video, and I just wanted to make a video for you guys and girls. And I promise I'll get on to catching up and watching all of your videos that you've made. I've still got Aaron Mutha Alamare's latest Tipsy Tuesday to watch. So yeah, if you don't know Aaron Mutha Alamare, please check out his channel. It's great. Subscribe to him. Liam the Deathly Metalhead, who I mentioned before. If you don't know his channel, check it out. It's brilliant. It's great. Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. I always watch his channel. Just so good. And of course, Sea of Tranquility. Make sure you check out their great channel. The latest Hudson Valley Squares episode is probably the best topic that they've done so far. They talk about the albums that were the start and the foundations for what would later become death metal and black metal. So they talk about all those classic AE albums and bands like Death and Hellhammer, Merciful Fate, Tormentor, Celtic Frost, the early Running Wild stuff, the early Destruction, the early Sadus. I mentioned in the comments about Messiah with Extreme Cold Weather. I think one of the very early landmark extreme metal bands and albums. Of course, early Slayer. I'm forgetting ones now, but you know. Anyway, watch the latest Sea of Tranquility Hudson Valley Squares video, because it's all the boys just this time, and they really get into some good talks. And of course, Aaron, the metal theologian, the dude. I mean, he's the metal messiah, if you ask me. So yeah. But thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'll try and make as many as I can. Literally, I'm making them whenever I get a day off at the moment. So, and I'll put all the descriptions to the brand new releases that came out last week and today in the description, so you can check them all out. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I know this was a long one, but I had a lot to talk about, and I haven't made as many lately. So yeah, and I'll catch you all soon.